what we're gonna do today is to just re-implement some higher order functions. Re-implement some higher order functions from scratch, like map and filter, and maybe, I don't know, reduce, or like, we'll see where we go. Because a lot of people get into using map and filter and don't get a little bit confused around what is the thing that you put into the function and why is the argument named this. And I just wanted to spend a little bit of time just making them from scratch in order to understand how they work. Okay? Because they're not complicated at all. They're not at all magical. So that is what we're going to do. But before we do, I would like to draw your attention to today's sponsor. Today's sponsor that is right below me here in the rotation box. Well, eventually. It's let me just whoop there and there. Whoop, Educative. Educative is an online platform with courses for different development things. It's a subscription model, and it's like very cheap. And what's nice about Educative is that all of it is text-based and interactive. So if you're like in a space where you like videos don't make sense for you for some reason, in many cases you just want text. I often find that I like videos, but sometimes I just feel like I need music, and then the video doesn't work, so I just like want to focus on that. And sometimes I just don't feel like video. I just want to like skim text and just code away. So if text-based courses is your thing, then Educative is what you want. So yeah, check them out. Thank you so much, Educative, for sponsoring the show. You can also find them in the Twitch box below right now, or if you're watching the recording later on YouTube, you can find them in the episode description. Osmin points out that you can't copy paste from videos, which is it's a great point actually. Yeah, so let's get going with this. So let's have a look at map. So let's make some array. We're gonna call it 2, 6, 7. Oh, that's 2, 4, 8, and we're gonna just call it const r, something like that. And then we're going to just, what is that? So that's the array. Let's map it. Gonna do like map, and then map wants to be passed a function. So I'm gonna pass it a function. Looks something like this. I'm gonna call this item for fun. You can call it anything. I'm assuming that you're new to map here. I know that a lot of people know how map works, but for the purposes of this video, I want to let's start from the base and really think about this, because sometimes I like to just return to the basics. I find that it's just nice to really think about what is this thing really? How does stuff work? It gives a great sense of comfort as a developer. So yeah. Tomorrow says, when you type, the mic vibrates. It's kind of cool. The mic? Can you see the mic? I'm gonna try to type lighter. This new setup is a little bit problematic because the camera is connected to the desk, which it wasn't before. So let me know what you think. If is this annoying? Well, we'll see. It's all new. Trying to figure things out. Either way, so each item here. If you look at item here, you'll see that on every loop, because Quokka here will now echo out every loop. So map is just past every item here. And if we just let's take what we just pass this into a variable, which that we're just gonna call result. Meep. And then let's see what result is. So if you see here, it's just passing out undefined, and that's because map, the function that we pass to map here, is sort of like a little processor of every item. It's like, you can think of map as something that, as a machine that has a little machine inside of it that processes every item that we put into it. So if I return item here, it's going to return exactly the array that we had. And say that we want the processor here to add 1 to every item. Then we just do like this. We add like +1. So have a look at here down in the result, and you'll see here that it has added 1 to each item. And if I add 2, it's gonna be 4, 6, 10. So it adds 2 to 4, 2 to 4, 2 to 2, 4, 2 to 4, 6, and then yeah, you get it. Beep. But how does this work though? Well, what a lot of people that are not familiar with functional programming, because this is functional programming, is this thing like the syntax is just like a little bit weird. You like often when I say like look at this, it looks something like this. It's not called array, but it's called numbers. I'll call this numbers. And then it's not called item, but it's called number. And I'm gonna change this to number as well. Number. And we get the same result. So what's this thing here? It's like people get confused because they don't understand where this variable come from. Why is it called number, or why is this called number? So, like, why is this distinction? It's just like, what is happening, you know? And that is because the concept of a higher order functions is new to you. So you have let's call this const processor. If can somebody in chat give me is there a proper name for processor? A better name. So you see here that we just assign processor here, a variable processor, a constant processor, to the value here is going to be this function here. And this is new to people that are not from functional programming, that you can pass, that functions are values. They can be passed around just like a variable. Just for to satisfy people's OCD, we can remove the parents here. Makes the function a little bit simpler. We also don't need these here. We can remove the curly brackets to make it like really smooth. Osminosm points out that a better name for processor might be transform. Yeah, let's do that. Transform. And you could also name it after what it does, of course. Perhaps like add to. Something like that. You still get the same result, right? So add is a function that takes a function, and then it uses that to loop through numbers. And what also makes this a little bit impure and confusing is that JavaScript is a multi-paradigm programming language. Oh my god, multi-paradigm. It combines object orientation with functional programming. In functional language we don't have we often don't have objects in this sense, we don't connect functions. We don't tie functions to objects. Like this is, you can think of map as a method on the class numbers if you're coming from a function object-oriented background. In a functional language, perhaps it would look a little bit more like this: map array, and you would pass in numbers and then add 2, something like this. And in a functional language, it would actually be this order, because that's a convention. There are a number of reasons for this that I won't go into, but because I would distract us. But just know that there is a sane reason why it's you pass in the transform first and the value second. But that's not what we're gonna get into today. So we have map array, and that's what we want to implement today. That's what we're gonna implement. So let's start to write that. I'm gonna just write function map array. And I'm gonna comment this out and call our map array. Transform, and we're gonna pass in numbers. Now this is gonna be yeah, array, like that. See what people are writing here. Tony Clifton says, this is VS Code. Yeah, it's VS Code. And the inline evaluation that you're seeing is called Quokka. That's pretty much the only plugin I use. Robert Table says that the iterator part is handled by map though. The function passed to map is what we are naming. The function doesn't even know it's being invoked for every item. Neat, huh? Yeah, exactly. Added to here is, it's really not aware of anything. It's just a function that adds 2 to a number. So that is the nice thing here, is we are decoupling concerns in a very nice way. The running over the function is separated out somewhere else. The fact that we are transforming each item is separate is in another place, and the adding is in another place. So we're like, functional programming is a lot about like separating concerns into ludicrously small parts, which can be a little bit of a trap with functional programming, because you end up like breaking everything into ultra tiny functions that are really hard to, and it's really hard to not waste time on that. It's a little bit of a trap. But if you're doing it to a sane level, it is remarkably powerful. So what we're gonna do is, I'm just gonna implement this with a for loop. Just to, there maybe more clever ways to do this, but I want us here to just think a little bit about the concept of map and understand how it could work under the hood. So let's do a for loop. For and let I equals 0, and then we have while I is less than array.length. Gonna increment floop, and then we are going to take the current item const, because we're iterating here. We're just gonna call it current. I'm just gonna call it current. and we're gonna take the item at that position I. Yeah. The reason why I'm such a bad typist is because I'm horrible. But I'm also switching to an US keyboard layout this year, which makes me much more horrible. So yeah, deal with it. Sorry. As Madsen says, any reason for not using a for of loop? No, you can absolutely use a for of loop here. But a for of loop is like it's a complicated abstraction. And I just want to use the absolutely simplest thing here so that we are not confused. We want to see every single thing here to demystify. And the for of loop has a lot. It's very abstract, and there's a lot of things going on there. So let's not get into that. Robert Dable says, I've been watching you type on video streams for years, and I'm used to it, and I'm just as bad. Thank you so much for saying that. You support me so well, man. It's nice to know that other people are horrible too. Flatary says, I never noticed how bad I was at typing until I saw you type. All right. Yeah, so for every item here, we are going to pass the current item into the transform, right? So we're going to transform, and we're going to call that with the current item. Vlop. And so now we have these. You see here that now we are getting the results that we want: 4, 6, 6, and 10. I'm going to change this to 1 just for funds. Oh, how did I get that result? There. And we want to. What even happened here? I'm confused. We now want to store this somewhere, so we need an array here. Let's call this transformed array. Bloop. And yeah, that's a new array. That's a new array. And for every item, we want to just push this onto the transform array. So just to like really get these things broken down, we're gonna assign this to a variable, transformed. I'm gonna call this transformed. Let's just call this current item. I'm gonna call this item. Is item a good name? I think item is a good name, but I'm not an expert. If you have a better name for current item than for item, please post it. And then we take the transformed item and we push it onto the array. Blob. And then finally we return the transformed array. Boom. And now we have map. That's all it is, really. Map is not more complicated than this. It's functional programming is very simple. It's deceptively simple. It seems rather magical, but it's actually a lot less intricate and complicated than object-oriented programming. It's just like, it just seems complicated because you have to understand these concepts like passing by value and but it's essentially just like very small parts that you assemble. Very small parts. So I'm gonna just compact this a little bit. If we take the array item here, mob, want to just push this into one line. Is for kicks. Something like that. Something like that. Let's implement filter. Let's implement filter as well. Get some nice, more filter. The filter is probably a function that you might have been using, but you haven't thought about like how it works inside. Maybe not yet. Filter, and filter looks like just like map array. I'm gonna call this filter array. Filter array. It has the same signature, you know, but instead of transforming, filter doesn't transform, you know. Filter filters, and I think that a common name for this is called predicate. No, I think, chat, is it? Or would say it was a comparator. Yeah, maybe a comparator. Oh, my stomach is growling. Yeah, let's go with predicate. Let's go with predicate. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna have a for loop here that runs through. Gonna compact this a little bit so that we don't run out of space. Whoop. And we're gonna create a filtered array here, filtered array, which is also an empty array here. And we are here going to create a new function that is called more than 5. More than 5, and this takes a number, and it will do something. If the number is more than 5, it's going to be true. So this evaluates here, and this will be a boolean. So this, we can actually call it is more than 5, so that it's clear from the name what it does. And I'm gonna comment this little bugger out, and we're going to say filter array, and it first takes this is more than 5, and then it takes the array, or it takes the numbers, flop. And here we want the result. What is the result now? Now result is just undefined. Actually, let's do the normal filter first to make sure that we know that what the result is going to be. Let's comment this out. Normal filter. The filter that is built into JavaScript. So numbers will have a filter, and this will take is more than 5, and this you will just give us 8 here. I'm gonna give us a little bit more, 9. So yeah, now we will only get 8 and 9 here, because 2 and 4 here it's not more than 5. Yeah, so now I want to comment this out, and I want to make our filter array return the same thing, and it doesn't right now, it's undefined. Actually, I'm gonna move map array down here so that it doesn't distract us. Right, how do you do this? Let's get the current item. Const array. Oh, we just do this. Hello. Flop. And we do const current item. I should not have factored up the other one, broken up the other one. It would have been better to keep it, but I was too eager to do premature cleaning up. Should never do that. Should wait before cleaning things up because you might need it. Complete the task before cleaning. Important. Anyway, now we want to see if the current item should be in the list. So if we pass the current item to the predicate, flip, only then should we add it to the filtered array. Flip, push, current item. And we are returning undefined. We suck. We need to return filter array. And now we no longer suck. Look, we have it, 8, 9. Now we no longer suck. It's okay to suck as long as you're awesome after a little while. Which was Vlak. I love your way of making us learn JavaScript. It's amazing. I learned a lot from your streams and videos, sir. Thank you, sir. Like, that's so nice of you to say. So like nice and cuddly. I love I love the people in chat. You're so amazing. It's the best way to start a Monday, actually. It's the best way to start a week. I love doing these streams. Not the streams themselves, but you. Like it's I've been missing this during the forgot about how good it was to stream with you guys. All right, so that's what it is, you know. It's and whoop. It's not more complicated than that. Not more complicated than that. I'm going to take this and shove it into gist for you. There we go. So it's in the chat, and if you're watching the YouTube video, I have put it in the episode description. So the benefit of this is that we separate logic. So you could have a separate function that called add3. Yeah, that should probably be oopsie. Number, just take this here and 3, and then we can be passing those to the map array here. Oh, sorry. So I could, instead of using add2 here, I could add 3. And this super tiny modularity is very representative of how functional programming works. We have these very tiny parts that we combine together. And the benefit of it is partially like reusability, because we can have these super tiny little Lego blocks that we can paste together. And they're not big objects that tend to include a lot of tooling that you tend to have a problem with in object-oriented programming languages. It's very hard to use small parts and combine them. It's not a strength of object-oriented programming. But another benefit is also that you can think about problems you divide problems into very small parts, and when you do, the problems are generally less complex, and when they are less complex, they are easier to reason about and where bugs are. So that is the benefits of programming like this. And oh yeah, _func says that writing tests for functional programming is so much easier. Yeah, because the small components are very easy to reason about because they have inputs, outputs, and they don't have a lot of state. They can't have state in them. So yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Glitched out. Reduce has always been super magical to me. Yeah, I don't think that we have time to do reduce today, but we might do that next time if people like this kind of thing. Reduce is even simpler, I would say. What would be reduce is one of those things that is just deceptively simple. It's so simple. It's hard to understand because it's so simple. Yeah, let's do that next time. Let's do that next time. Yeah. Before we head off, another shout out to Educative that you see in the rotation box below. Right now you're seeing Circle CI, which is also which is our long-running gold sponsor. They are an amazing service for building continuous integration flows. So if you're an organization and you want to start running your tests in Docker and have like a more sophisticated flow and want to create automatic deployment flows, then Circle CI it's amazing. It's a super high quality service. It's super sleek and it's very, very easy to deal with. And they have been supporters of the channel for so long. I love all the people there. They're so nice, and you should just give them a shout out, honestly. Let me foomp. Educative is a text-based course platform. So if you're interested in like learning programming through text, having all that copy-paste ability, and yes, text works for you, and also interactive live coding environments that they provide, then Educative, check them out. They have a great subscription, and make sure that you use that link below as well, so that they know that you came from here. If you were watching the YouTube recording, the link is also down in the episode description. And with that, I bid you farewell, and I hope you had an amazing week, really, or you have an amazing week. It's start of the week, start of the year. The last year has been an interesting one for sure, and I think that this one is going to be a great one. It's going to be very interesting, and it's going to be super interesting for the channel, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. And thank you so much for joining me in this first stream of the year. Join me next time, same time, 7 a.m. Pacific time, and you can find this on twitch.tv/funfunfunction if you're found this on YouTube, and make sure to follow there. And until next Monday morning, stay curious. Bye.